Hey y'all, welcome back to another video, man. Today, I'm going to be making a special video on New Orleans Saints head coaching candidates. Because I don't think Dennis Allen's the guy. So, I'm just going to straight up go to candidates. The first one I got is Lou Anarumo. Because I personally want Brian Callahan as my head coach. That's just me, Bengals offensive coordinator. But for number one on this option is Lou Anarumo, defensive coordinator from the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's go to Lou Anarumo. Lou Anarumo. Let's see. So yeah, he was the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins in 2015, then just either left or got fired. And then he's been the Bengals defensive coordinator ever since 2019. So yeah, Lou Anarumo, he's a defensive coordinator. He's in his 12th NFL season. So, we obviously know about Dennis Allen things, but Lou Anarumo, he was the Dolphins defensive coordinator in 2015, the Bengals defensive coordinator ever since 2019. But if you look at his history, in 1989, he coached Wagner. He was the running backs coach. And ever since then, he's been doing good things. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to find the statistics. Look, Lou Anarumo's defense is 5th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game with 102.5 and 11th in sacks with 42. He would be amazing for this defense. Like I said, I don't even think Dennis Allen's the defensive guy. But if Lou Anarumo ends up being our new head coach, I won't mind it as long as we get an offensive-minded head coach. Offensive coordinator. Obviously, since he's on the offense, but somebody that actually knows what they're doing. Because, Lou Anarumo coached a defense to get to a Super Bowl. So, I think he can do that with this defense. He can rebuild some of these defensive players into being better what they are. I won't mind him as the head coaching, as the head coach, but we have to see. He won't be my number one option, but if he's there, I would take him. Next, we got Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, who we could have had a couple years ago, but we decided to take Dennis Allen. Look, Eric Bieniemy, people forget, in 2021, Bieniemy continued to lead the Kansas City Chiefs offense to finish in the top 5 multiple NFL categories, including third down conversion percentage, something that the Saints struggle with, where he was first with 52.2, fourth down conversion percentage, where he was tied for first with 66.7, something Saints struggle with, and first downs, where he was first with 419 yards per game. But yeah, Eric Bieniemy has done a fabulous job in Washington. He's done a great job. He also coached Adrian Peterson when he was the Vikings running backs coach. You know, he coached Adrian Peterson and Jamal Charles, two pretty good running backs. And, no, I think he could do the same thing with Kamara. And maybe get Jamal Williams back on track. I like Eric Bieniemy as a potential head coach. I do. He would probably be number one on the board. Next, we got Ejiro Evero, defensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers. Okay, alright, so I do not want him. I don't even know why he's on here. You know, he coached he was helping the Broncos back. Nah, bro, he was a defensive coordinator for the Broncos a year ago. I mean, he helped that defense, but nah, bro, I've seen my fair shares of this. You know, I don't mind him as a defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, no, I don't even want to go through him. All right, next we got Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, who has experience of being a head coach of a football team. As we all remember what he did in Miami. You know, Pro Football Focus's Trevor Sikkema ranked Brian Flores 8th among play callers on the defensive side of the football. Sikkema used his time at Miami to outline his abilities to call a defense. Look, this is an example. Miami was not good a couple years, but Brian Flores made them a good team. You have to realize Mike McDaniels was set up for success. Brian Flores set him up for success. So, Brian Flores set Mike McDaniels up for some success. I think if you get Brian Flores, Tyreek Hill, Tua, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, I think they're probably even a better team. I think they probably beat the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bills. I think they beat those teams. They might be undefeated if Brian Flores is still coaching them. I think he got fired too early. Then he had a scandal for like a year. But I like Brian Flores, especially what he did in Pittsburgh last year. He did his thing. You know, he's like an exception for defensive coordinators that are good at head coaches because he has experience of being a good head coach. And he's the guy I wanted a couple years ago. But we stuck with Dennis Allen. So, yeah, Brian Flores is definitely like top 1 or 2 on the list. Next, we have Aaron Glenn, the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator.
You got 4 teachers.
Aaron Glenn, who actually used to play football for the Saints. He was a Saints cornerback and solid. But look, the Lions, he has rebuilt that defense. And he used to be a Saints defensive backs coach. And he got our defense. He knows our defensive backs. He knows our defensive backs. He coached guys like Lattimore. Alright? He made Marcus Williams who he was. He coached all these guys. So I would love Aaron Glenn back in the building as our head coach. Because he's done good things with the Lions. With the Lions defense. So I would like him. Next, we have Jim Harbaugh. The head coach of Michigan. Alright, Jim Harbaugh, he's coached Michigan. I wouldn't mind him as our head coach because he knows what it takes to get to a Super Bowl. Nobody knew who Colin Kaepernick was until he coached the 49ers and got them to a Super Bowl and nearly came back and won it. I would take Jim Harbaugh, but he's probably going to be a little rusty coming back to the NFL after spending almost a decade in Michigan or whatever it was. But I will say this, because I don't think Harbaugh's leaving Michigan until he wins the national championship. I think he's going to try to do what he was set there to do. But we have to see about that. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Hold on, what's wrong with this? I won't mind him as a head coach, but I won't really want him. I'm not gonna lie, because of this game as well. But now we have Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator.
Do the nurses design different than the teachers? Do the color?
Alright, this is an offensive guy.
No, that's hers. Because she's not going to have T in hers.
Yeah, let's see.
Unless you give
I feel like not Dan Campbell. Ben Johnson, I feel like, is a stand-up guy. If the offense is not flowing well, he will admit it. I will take Ben Johnson in this building because he's an offensive-minded coach, and I want an offensive-minded coach. Unless it's a guy like Brian Flores or maybe Lou Anarumo. But I will take Ben Johnson in this building. Next, let's go to another B. Johnson. Let's go to Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see. So we got 5 stats that prove Brian Johnson is excelling as the Eagles offensive coordinator. Let me move you all over here.
clears up for 2 days and it starts coming up, but you gotta use the shampoo.
Okay. Brian Johnson is in his 3rd season with the Philadelphia Eagles. After the Birds' Super Bowl loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, then offensive coordinator Shane Steichen was hired by the Indianapolis Colts to be their new head coach. For Johnson, who was the quarterback's coach, that meant a promotion to offensive coordinator following the 2022 campaign, and the expectation was that the rising coach prospect would only be here a short time before moving on to coach his team. Through the first 7 games, Johnson has received his fair share of criticism. Still, as Reuben Frank and others have pointed out, Johnson is doing a great job and has the Eagles heading toward a repeat appearance in the Super Bowl. With the Week 8 matchup against the Commanders looming, we're providing 5 stats that prove Johnson has more than excelled as a new offensive coordinator, and hopefully for the Saints head coach. Expected points added, EPA. The Ben Baldwin and Sebastian Carl stats calculate how a team's expected points were adjusted on a particular sequence. The advanced metric is calculated by the expected points scored based on the down, distance, and field position at the start of a play. The Eagles are 6th in the NFL with .06 EPA and 5th in the NFL with a 47.4 success rate on all offensive plays per summer sports. Overall stats. The Eagles are good and sometimes expectations can be overhyped, but Brian Johnson's offense is among the best in the NFL despite not having played a complete game. According to Reuben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia, the Birds are a top 5 team in a handful of the NFL's most important offensive statistics. First in the league with 24 first downs per game. Excellent. Second on third down at 49%. Excellent. Second with 7 plays of 40 yards or more. Excellent. Third with 389 yards per game. Excellent. And fourth with 25.6 points per game. Excellent. Eagles are on par with 2022 stats. Shane Steichen was a fantastic offensive coordinator, and he played a massive role in the Birds advancing to the Super Bowl last year. Steichen also had frustrating moments during his first season as the team's primary play caller. Per Reuben Frank, the Philadelphia's offense averaged 27 points and 395 yards per game, while netting 46% of third down attempts while maintaining the football for the 32-minute, 48-second time of possession. Through 7 games this year, Johnson has the Eagles averaging 25.6 points, 389 yards per game, and 49% on third down, while maintaining the football for a 35-minute, 4-second time of possession. There's been no drop-off outside of some early red zone struggles that most teams have in 2023. Eagles camp out in the red zone. How can you suggest a change at offensive coordinator when the Eagles are tied with the Kansas City Chiefs for the most red zone possessions in the NFL? When you have an explosive offense, your field goal/touchdown ratio is likely to be off when the offensive team isn't converting opportunities into 6 points. Team stats. According to the team's official website, Philadelphia is the number 3 ranked total offense, 389.3 yards per game in the NFL through 7 games, trailing only Miami, 462.3 yards per game, and Kansas City, 396.7 yards per game. The Eagles rank 4th in rushing offense, 140. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire thing anymore, but you get the point. He is excellent. Brian Johnson is excellent. Now let's go to Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. But yeah, I would like Brian Johnson in this building. All right, Kellen Moore with the Chargers. He ranked 12th in nation in passing and efficiency and 24th in total offense, averaging 265.85 yards per game, and was first in WAC in passing efficiency, 157.1, and second in total offense, 265.8, and average passing yards per game, 268.2. And Justin Herbert is playing at an elite level. Next, we got Raheem Morris, defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. He is not one of my favorites, but we'll see. But Raheem Morris ranked as 7th best defensive coordinator entering 2023 season, but that was before the season. Their defense has been off. So yeah. Next, we got Antonio Pierce, who is the interim head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, but has done a damn good job for the Raiders ever since they fired Josh McDaniels. Look, I'm not going to say too much, but he knows how to coach a defense. And like I said, all we need is that one offensive coach. All right, now look, we got Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. And I might do a part 2 to this, I don't know. All right, guys, you know what? I'm going to do a part 2. All right, I'm going to do a part 2 to this. Because I cannot fit all of this in one video, so you're going to probably see me, like, part 2, though, might come out before part 1, but you never know. Alright, I'm going to see you literally for next video.